Well, I want to welcome you back, audience, to our second portion of the One Cell, One Light radio show. And today's talk is going to be with my guest, Miss Nancy Kersey, and we're going to have Vampire Facelifts after 5 o'clock. Are you there, Nancy?
I am, if you can hear me.
Sure can.
Oh, good.
Well, audience, my concern with a lot of these, which we're going to talk about, is briefly an overview of the injectable facelifts that occur in the Hollywood and many areas of the United States and abroad. But in particular, there is, we're going to have on our site or on the Pro Board or WordPress a chart which it has the different types of injectable components, whether it's the Botox, Restylane, Juvederm, the new hydrogels, any of these type things. And then also the concern I have is that these materials from the injectable sides are basically fillers. And these fillers, yes, can be mixed like Botox with botulism so that it takes that endotoxin, which is from the bacteria, mixes it with different fillers and different glues, which are like the hydrogels or any of these other components, and used so that it can puff up the skin and the muscle area so that you lose your wrinkles or your crow lines or the deep furrows or anything. These materials are temporary. It goes from 3 to 4 months to as high as 1 year. Depends on the treatment. Some of them are trained by dermatologists. They use it, or plastic surgeons. And then also physicians go for the weekend courses. They pay a certain amount of money to get trained in it and license the technology. And the thing is, some celebrities have had this done and have had the horror stories of it. Nancy and I will go over it. And then at the same time, the newest thing is the Vampire Facelift, which is a combination of these materials like the Botox, the Restylane, or the Juvederm mixed together, and then they take a sample of your blood, spin it down, so they get the platelets, which are the thrombocytes, mix it with that, which they call a protein-rich fibrin matrix, because it's got the platelets have a lot of growth factor in it, so that then it can get in, when they inject it, it gets into that area of your jaw or wherever these wrinkles are, and expands it out. But many things can go wrong, right, Nancy?
Absolutely. And, when I was looking into this a bit, I mean, I hate to use her as an example, but she's the perfect one, actress Lisa Rinna, and her lips. And she had that done. I watched a program not too long ago. She had that done at least 20 years ago. Looked great for a while. But then as time went by, she started getting that rippling and bumpiness, and, her lips were looking more cartoonish than to be those of a beautiful woman. And
right.
she went to many plastic surgeons to have this fixed, and no one would touch her until finally one doctor did here in Los Angeles, and she had to go through the procedure, and then she had some problem with the suturing and things coming undone. He finally got it done. Oh my God, she's once again, that beautiful woman. Not that she wasn't, but the lips were a little bit of a factor there.
Right, and these factors, that meaning the injectables or anything, if they react, because they do contain hazardous materials, meaning silicone, there's technical grade, which is not to be used for these type of medical procedures, or they still are glues or greases or adhesives. There's even the new what they call a bipolymer, which is from a bio-bipolymer, which they use wheat straw, which is, the actin and the cellulose from wheat, and mixes it with a 2-part polyester, which these polyesters can be high-density polyethylene, like a milk container bottle, or also acrylonitrile. And I have had a patient that was part of a Restylane clinical trial, and not under our facilities, but meaning came in afterwards, because for a number of years this individual, which was approximately 5 years, the face would be continually red, and whenever they would put a wet washcloth, brand new, white, we used even in the office and sent it to the lab for analysis, fibers would come out of the person's face. And we had this analyzed, and we'll have it on the website and also the Vimeo, which was high-density polyethylene, acrylonitrile, vinyl chloride. We know from hazardous materials training and everything, vinyl chloride breaks down into dioxin. So it does put you at risk for other types of diseases and disorders. And it is so important, if you do choose to go into those areas of using this type of technology, that you make sure the person is trained in that area to inject it, and at the same time that it is pharmaceutical grade. I myself, that's why I went into natural things always, especially our gels, which we're going to bring out. But the thing is, because I wanted something natural to allow your body and muscles to grow and to have its longevity and have its youthful vitality. And I know,
have a question.
Sure.
Why do some of them have adhesives? Right away, that like a red flag goes off in my mind. And what is it adhering to? And then after the appropriate amount of time, when, whatever filler is not still active, I'm assuming the adhesives are left behind. Can you tell me about that?
Right. It's the adhesives are if we took Saran wrap or that type of clear plastic, put it down in layers. It's called thin film technology, and in these they use the adhesives, which are these polymers and that, to glue it in between, that these materials, when they mix with the water or certain proteins in our body, it causes it to expand. So in reality, you're not healing that area where you injected it. You're just filling it in with the glue or a substance that just puffs it out. Many of these materials, like we've seen with the allergic reactions of latex gloves, some of them have a latex base, or some of them have some components like the acrylonitrile that people are highly sensitive in, and then they blister or have some reaction that way. And this is the fallacy within the public. They think, even like with breast implants, that they're healthy, they're safe, they're FDA approved. They're FDA approved because it met whatever those bare minimum requirements are. Does not mean it's healthy to put a plastic bag in your body.
I don't like the sounds of that.
Yeah, and our body is trained to reject whatever is foreign bodies within our body. And it will try to always break it down and expand it. Many people who have had, different types of these injectable facelifts, they end up having lymphedema, where their lymph glands will swell. They have different neurological problems because some of these materials will coat the nerves, and if they had mercury or viral in the nerve that now is encapsulated with these foreign materials, meaning these injectables, they can get paralysis, Bell's palsy, or post-viral neuralgia, different types of disorders. And that's what I wanted on this show is, with your assistance, Nancy, is to share with our audience that you have, yes, informed consent, but you sign as you get these injections when you're doing these modified facelifts, but at the same time, there's other alternatives out there. And also look at many of the over-the-counter products, too, because these over-the-counter products are using some of the same adhesives and glues in it, and fillers. So do read the label.
What happens with repeated use? Maybe the first time or two you look good, you feel great, la. What happens if you keep doing it? You love it, so you keep doing it, let's say in the face. year after year, let's say it's good for 6 months, then you repeat. What happens down the line 5 years later, 10 years later?
Well, this is the whole thing is as your body either accepts it or rejects it, it's going to compartmentize, and then you may get a cyst, you may get other types of situations or bad acne. Vinyl chloride, which I said one of the fillers that was for the person that was in the clinical trial for Restylane, turnaround, they had vinyl chloride in their body and showed that in their blood test. Vinyl chloride can cause a lot of damage to the liver and other organs because these individuals don't know that they have a toxin in them. They just think they're going for a procedure and it's going to be basically a quick fix to get rid of wrinkles. And like even this Vampire Facelift, the average price for that facelift, I do not know what the price is for any Botox treatment or Restylane or any of those Juvederm or anything like that, but it's like a half hour after work. You go in, get the procedure, and it's $1,500. It's supposed to last longer than the regular 12 months for the simple reason that they're using your platelets so that you can have this protein-rich fibrin, which gives you the growth factor, so that it can make the muscles or make the sebum grow within that connective tissue.
Well, here's a comment I'm going to make as part of your team at Integrative Health Systems, and that's like, look at what you can do in half an hour, have this injected, and then down the road, when you've got the toxins in there, assuming you do, I watch your patients. I mean, it's no picnic. Detoxing, although your detox is non-invasive and easy, but it goes on for months and months, sometimes years, to detox these items out of your system.
Right. And it's like so much even for when we've seen in my career ruptured breast implants with these same materials are used in some of these fillers, biofillers. And why they call it biofillers is because it's supposed to react or adhere to a biological system, meaning like your cell. The thing is that, silicone is silicone. It breaks down, it takes the oxygen out of your cells, breaks down into silica and silicon, the quartz crystal of silica, and you end up having red face or red areas, blotchy areas of the body because it has carbon monoxide, which is the outgas product in carbon dioxide. When you have the dioxide, you hear the snap, crackle, pop. Many of these technologies are now used in double-walled nanotubes because they put like dry ice, carbon dioxide in between the two tubes that way. And the new procedures with some of the injectable fillers are now using nanomaterials in it so that it has longer life and bioavailability can react with the cells. But as I know from many committees that I'm on with the nanotechnology, there's no health and safety on it. And I have a lot of people that have been exposed to advanced nanomaterials, as you've seen, Nancy, in the office. And it is very hard to get that plastic to break up. Once you do, then you make it liquid, and then it just keeps pouring out of their bodies. And they go, when is this going to stop? And I always say, it's better to have it out than in, because you're basically suffocating inside like having a plastic bag over your head, and we know the hazards of that.
I've seen the results when one of your patients brought in a patch test, and that's like those foot pads that you put on the bottom of your feet. You see them advertised on TV, and the toxins come out. But you put them over the spine, below the waist, so that would be low back. And this one patient did it, and she brought it in to show me, and she and I were horrified. There was this unmistakable white substance, and she described it was liquid, as you said, when it came out, and then when it hits the air, boom, it like gets formed in whatever shape it's in at the moment. And here was this plastic on her patch that had been over her spine. And then there was, I described this to another patient of yours, and she said, oh, my gosh, I'm so glad you told me about this last week. She was getting out of her detox bath, and she was seeing this white stuff in the bathroom and under her feet. And again, it was the plastics. They were just coming out wherever they could. And she was forewarned, so she wasn't quite as horrified.
Right, because she even made the comment, I think you told me, that it looked like toilet paper was stuck on her, on her feet, and she couldn't figure out where she got the
toilet paper or cotton. What do I have here in the bathroom that, she couldn't figure it, her mind couldn't catch up to the reality.
Mhm. And with everything new that's coming out, it's more than read the labels. It's discussing, because I'm telling you, audience, a lot of these healthcare providers or physicians that are offering these alternative therapies for, injectable facelifts, they are not familiar with the hazards of it or anything. They're dependent on what is being, the literature given to them by the manufacturer. And these materials will accumulate, and we deal personally, Nancy and I, with the horror stories of what's happened
exactly
to the individuals.
I say that I do a lot of hand-holding through the phone, and it's not unusual to have your patients cry, and some of them say, oh my gosh, I want to die. That's scary stuff.
Mhm. Mhm. That is.
And that's why, as you're explaining this, that's why it's so important not just to jump into this and think, ooh, I'm going to be pretty. No, you've got to do your homework. You've got to do it once. You've got to do it twice. You've got to do it 3 times, because look at what can happen.
Right, and everyone gets upset after the fact, but if you do the homework, then you can make your own decision. Especially you would be, I feel, a higher risk if you were allergic to latexes or any of the plastics. Definitely reconsider any of those injectables, because they definitely could be in that injectable that you're experiencing. And they say beauty is only skin deep, so let's start with the inside muscles and everything and make everything healthy, whether you have far infrared or not. But a lot of the products that we're doing with the Botchimi, so natural that they retain a beautiful bioluminescence life force within themselves, so that they are growing within the body.
Absolutely. And getting back to the homework thing, that is so much more. Because, as you say, remember, the manufacturer wants to sell you something. So are they going to tell you the horror stories? I doubt it. And then you've got FDA regulation, as you say, maybe just doing the minimum to get it passed. So to me, it's going to someone like you and sitting down for a half an hour and saying, give me the straight scoop here before I, possibly make a mistake.
Right, and we've done many of that for clients and also patients, that whatever they are considering to have a procedure done, look at their material safety data sheets. What is this? I do a toxicology review and bring out the literature of what is going on with it, and then they can make up their own minds whether it's good for them or not. But the
actual client or patient can't get hold of the safety data sheets themselves, can they?
Yeah, it's very hard. It used to be accessible, but now under the hazard communication, you have to have a toxicologist, industrial hygienist, safety engineer, or occupational physician to request it. So we made 3 of those categories, so you can call our office and we can help on that. I'd like to go in, Nancy, with the history that we've had with, because of these concerns, I got very involved with how to use, we have a beautiful aloe gel that we mix our Willard water with, and in this it gave birth, that is the basic foundation of the Botchimi skincare products, which are the gels with the essential oils and the medicinal plants of antiquity in them. And we're going to give like a little history with some of the behind-the-scenes information of it, right, Nancy?
Absolutely. And you know what? I love using and working with essential oils. I did that for a 13-year career doing massage work, doing lymphatic drainage. They are so powerful. They are so beautiful. And, of course, you use Young Living, and that's what I worked with and I love.
Right. And we don't modify anything. We just go forward with it. The thing is with our aloe, because aloe was so good for burns and sunburns and just skin moisturizing and healing, that's why I've always used that base and get it as pure as possible. And the other is our first product, which was our Gel de Rancha, which was very important because of inner solution, which is by a product of MPS, which helps melt fat. We blended it and had permission from MPS to do it in our Gel de Rancha line because it was so easy to recontour the face or put it on because it was the gel, right, Nancy?
Absolutely.
Versus having that oil drip everywhere.
Oh, right. Well, plus then you wonder if it might be the oil might be a little too potent for certain areas.
Right, because it had the cayenne pepper
by itself.
Yeah, it had the cayenne pepper in it, and a lot of people try to get it around their face, and then they end up with the cayenne pepper in their eyes, and, you know, you hear those horror stories too, but when you have it in a gel format that's natural, and each one of these gels breathe through the body, they absorb in, and the body's just as hungry for it, I've seen over the years. And from those, we then came into some of Miss Nancy's favorite ones that we gave birth because I personally love the tale of the Monkey King, and our artist at that time, Clark Daly, did a beautiful picture of the Monkey King, and he's floating in the clouds, and we gave birth to our series, which was the Bacimi line, in 2008, which was, I think it was 2008 or 2009, I stand corrected, which was our tribute to Asian legends. And that particular one.
And that's some of your favorite history.
You got it, my ancient, Chinese,
what?
Mongolian, you give it to me.
Our poor patients and clients, they have a heck of a time and fumbling with the names. Bacimi, they can't quite get that, and Gel de Rancha. And with you, Hilda, it's like a tour of history, which I know you love, and geography, a tour of the world. I mean, you're teaching me all the time because I haven't a clue where you're going next.
and that's true, audience. I do like history, always have. I liked history, science, and math. And in this, my goal was with these products, my personal goal was that I would blend art, science, and medicine together. And it would be natural. It would be as organic as possible because many things that are even marked organic because of the air pollution, et cetera, this way, and the water pollution, every manufacturer and every industrial company that's a supplier of raw materials is trying to guarantee everything now because it's so hard with our unique times of pollution everywhere. And I love the story of the Monkey King and how he goes to Wu Mountain and steals the immortal peaches from the Jade Emperor and Empress. And in doing that, he eats all those peaches and becomes immortal. And he has a staff and he can fly the clouds like on a surfboard. And that gave birth to Monkey King Gel, which is our blend of green cellulose plants, and also with our, the peach.
Tell everybody what
beautiful.
That peach aroma does for us.
Oh, the peach aroma. There has always been something with the human body that on certain aromas you get aroused, you lose weight, and peaches do that. They allow you, if you smell peaches, you will lose weight. And in doing that, that's why I always tell with the gels, please put it below the nose area on the upper lip, by the nose flanges, behind the ears, and on the ear lobes, and then also on your first scar, which is your belly button. And you will see the magic of that gel happen as it expresses itself, because it goes through the nerves into those areas, and it gives quite beneficial avenues that way. I know
Monkey
King is your favorite, I know, Nancy.
Well, I have 3 favorites. Tell me when you want me to tell them about my 3 favorites, or do you want to give the intro to them?
Well, we're sort of going to give a blend of them as we go, because after the Monkey King was very important, not only from Chinese history, because that was the first book that was ever written. It was called Journey to the West by Wu Qin, who has the Wu Qin province in China. The thing is that was the first written book that was done. And I find it interesting, too. The first English translation of that book was done by the Chinese Christian Science group. So I always thought that was interesting. And then the other side of that series of Tribute to Asian Legends is the 3 Wise Monkeys, which was based on a 17th century carving that we always hear, see the monkeys, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. But the other 4th monkey that sometimes shows up is named Shizaru. And he's the one who has his arms folded in the back of his head and just lays back and rubs his tummy in total contemplation of what to do next. And those other monkeys are Mizaru, Kikazaru, and Iwazaru. And then we had our other series, which was the 9 series, which was the Gel d'Orange, Amber Gel, Lemon Drop, and Purple Gel. And those gels are among your favorite, except for the last one, which was going into my Japanese history with the first Emperor Jimmu, and we named Dragonfly because that was in 2010, because the original name of Japan is the Isles of Dragonfly Isles, because the first Emperor Jimmu, when he was looking at the islands, he was bit by a horsefly, and here comes a dragonfly and eats the horsefly in reward for that basically saving the emperor's life. The emperor named Japan Isles of Dragonflies, or Dragonfly Isles, which is Akitsuzuma. Okay, Nancy.
And that's another one that's so fun to pronounce.
Yeah, and spell them. We're learning all different kinds of words. At least I have. Yeah, and I always get in, I call it pickle time over here, and Nancy can tell you that is because I'm always creating new things, because I look at it and I tell the president and the rest of the staff, I go, well, I need it, so the world needs it. So we
keep us on our toes, both linguistically and with the products themselves. Can I tell now about my 3 favorites?
Yes, I want you to tell your story.
So, I mean, I love lots of them, but these 3 are my mainstays. So here's the order in which I do them every morning. I'd like to say I do them every evening, but I'm not consistent. So let's face facts. In the morning, after I've washed my face and brushed my teeth and taken a bath and all that good stuff, then I sit down, and the first thing I put on my face, this is for my face we're not going to do the body right now, we're just going to do face. I mean, you can put these on the body. Don't mean to say you can't, but this is my concentration area. So I take the Monkey King, and now instead of giving you all the physical attributes, which Hilda has done, I'm going to go off a little bit off the main course here and talk to you about manifesting what you want and what you deserve in your life. So you take the Monkey King, and I put it right between my eyebrows. That's on your 3rd eye. And then I put it, per Hilda's instructions, on the outside of my nose, from the bridge of my nose the whole way down, and then, as she said, underneath, so that you smell that peach, because I'm honing in on the weight loss area. So anyway, so then you can smell it, you can inhale it, it's great. And then I put it, and this is just kind of me, this isn't necessarily Hilda, going downward. I said just the face. Guess what? I'm elaborating on that. I put it on my heart and on my chest, and then I go down, as she said, to my first scar, which is the belly button, and I put it there and kind of around my tummy. And that's what I do with Monkey King. Feel free to spread it over a larger area. It certainly isn't going to hurt. Then I open up the Dragonfly. And here's the thing. These two, when I'm on the phone and people are calling in for products, if they ask for either Monkey King or Dragonfly, well, then they've got to hear my story, because to me, you don't have one without the other. It's like a pair. It's like twins. Don't separate them. So here's what Dragonfly does. It does it for Monkey King. It really will do it for anything. I say it ramps, R-A-M-P-S. It ramps up whatever you have. It's like a synergistic thing. 2 + 2 is 12. So all of a sudden you've got something bigger and better than if you had just used Monkey King by itself. So I go to the same areas and I take Dragonfly and I put it on my third eye between my eyebrows, again on each side of my nose from the bridge down to the tip and underneath. Then I take it, per Hilda, and I put it behind my ears. And then people say, well, where behind your ears? Well, there's almost like a little groove where your ear attaches to your skull, and it's sort of like a little valley there. So each side I do that, and then I come down to the tip of my earlobe, and I run it straight down my throat, right over my sternocleidomastoid. And so I do that on both sides, both ears. Then I go to the heart and the chest. Then I go down to the belly button. Now, starting with when you put the Monkey King on before the Dragonfly, I think in my head, you can say it out loud if you want to, but I just think in my head, what is it that I choose to bring into my life? So it can be something tangible. You can say, well, hey, I want a pink Cadillac in the driveway by Friday. That's okay. Or you can say, you know what? I want perfect health. I want to be free from disease. I want my children to quit fighting. Whatever it is in your life, don't think it's crazy. Don't edit the list. Just let it flow. Might be one thing, might be 10. Doesn't matter. Then I think those same thoughts again when I put on the Dragonfly. Now I sort of cheat. I just kind of put it on automatic pilot, so I'm not going through my list every time. Hope it's still working. But so it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm in the groove, I'm in the zone, and this is what I expect to happen. So those are my two of my three favorites. My third favorite, and I put this on after the Monkey King, after the Dragonfly. I let them dry and sink in. Doesn't take very long. Or even if you put it over top. And that is the lemon drop. That is like a mini facelift in a jar. And I remember how I felt the first time. I was like amazed and happy. You can just feel it tightening. And I make sure that I do it on my face and my neck and my chest area, the décolletage for the ladies. And so you can feel it. You can feel it tightening. Oh, my gosh, how wonderful. So I let that dry, and then I don't think Hilda uses a moisturizer, do you?
No.
After that.
I don't.
Well, I do. So she's fine without it. I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing with me. So I'm not saying you have to. You can figure out which works for you. So then I put on my moisturizer and a little something under the eyes and go on with the rest of my makeup. But those are my three favorite gels.
Yeah, and they really work, and especially there was a lot of articles last week about the benefits of lemon, in particular with skin cancer and cancer therapies, because some of the pharmaceutical companies are really looking at the active ingredients in lemons to use as a better chemotherapy than what is out there now, which a lot of the chemotherapies that are out there are based on using mycotoxins, which are from fungus, to kill the cells and to give benefit to the body, to get rid of the disease. But so with the lemon drop, not only does it smell wonderful, it smells just like lemonade. It's just wonderful. It always brings a smile on your face, no matter who's using it, a little child, an adult, or a senior citizen. It just makes you happy. And the thing is, we've also, because in the last month or so, because I've been growing our garden out here, we have gotten involved in edible flowers, and we have a new product that's coming out this summer, which just is going to launch this coming week to the next week, which is our nasturtium. And several soft clinical trials have already occurred with the nasturtium gel, which is made from the stems, flowers, and leaves of nasturtium blended in our aloe gel with Willard water. And it is phenomenal what the cataplasma that's in nasturtium will do. It will act like sheets, a natural sheet, a natural thin film, and cause the muscles to tone and to heal. We've had individuals that have had cuts on their body from surgeries or injuries, or healed muscles that were healed from pulling their muscles 5 years ago and putting the nasturtium gel on that area, and it gets better, and they feel a little like ache in it, but it's going deeper. Wouldn't you say, Nancy?
Here's what I've noticed, and I haven't even told you about the itchy part.
This is only 21 days old, this product, right?
I know. I love it. I love just the minute you brought your blender to work, I knew something was up. Oh, my God, she's in the laboratory again. Not that we have a lab here, but I call it that. So, but the thing I've noticed, I put it on my hysterectomy scar, which goes up and down, so that's a lot of territory. And then at the bottom, it's like a T. And that was sort of bumpy and not so great. I told you that was turning red. Now it started itching. So to me, and I know you'll say this, it's like it's healing from the inside out. So it's like a good thing. It's like, oh, my God, this is healing. So I'm fascinated watching the whole thing.
Yeah, I know.
And I told you I had like a little reddish scar on my forehead, old acne scar. That seems to be fading away. And you've got to tell them about the MRSA.
Yeah, we had an individual that did an internship with me several years ago, and they had an emergency appendectomy, and they went into the hospital. This was 9 months ago, and they ended up getting MRSA and had a 9-month battle with this, and also the scar of the surgery. We sent them a bottle of the nasturtium gel. They put it on, and in 3 days it was gone, the MRSA, but at the same time their scar was gone.
Amazing.
And totally amazing.
Amazing. And MRSA, oh, my God, guess what? That can be fatal.
Right, and this goes back to when you have the nutrients that are in medicinal plants of antiquity and now the edible plants, there's a whole range of applications because plants, flowers that are edible are high in carotens, high in enzymes, high in nutrients that are more than just a regular plant. So when you have that knack of mixing or matching that type of edible plant into the benefit that will help your body heal and restore, all of the healing tools are here with these plants within our planet. At the same time, we're seeing a rejuvenation from the inside out. Even when you put this nasturtium on, like over your eyelids or under your eyes, you can actually feel the eyeball muscles tone up. That you get better vision because of the muscles toning up. I was amazed when I was young. I grew too fast, and so I had stretch marks on the back of my calves, which was since I was 8 years old. I put this on, and they're gone. I'm just amazed at how fast it works, and we've done beautiful results and had clients that came into the office, and Nancy, you worked with them, which had adult acne, and they're totally amazed at what's happening with
absolutely.
it. Yeah, because they've had battles.
Especially in conjunction with your other therapies in your protocol, it just, makes it that much better. Again, synergistic type of healing.
Right, and as everyone is getting more creative and tapping into their own blessings, I've been very blessed in receiving abilities to make very good formulations that work, because I want to get you all well, get you going, and keep you beautiful so that everyone can enjoy the movies, because I love going to the movies.
We know.
And always have and always
and
will.
The great thing about the nasturtium is once you open it, and especially during this trial phase, we have to keep it refrigerated. And now once you buy it, it's good on the shelf life, but once you open it, you need to refrigerate it. Oh, my gosh, that's the best part. It's hot. It's, people are having triple-digit temperatures. You pull this out of the refrigerator, and you just slather it on head to toe. I mean, with the gels, sometimes I don't get it everywhere I should. With this, I listen to you, and I got to do the eyelid thing, though, and I put it on my face, I put it on my chest, my arms, tops and bottoms, even underarms, and as you suggested, and down the legs, I mean, everywhere. Oh, it feels divine. It feels like you've been to the spa.
Yeah, it is. Especially on those hot days, it is cool and refreshing. And all of the gel products, they're not sticky. They're not anything. They absorb in because they're healthy for the body. And you can tell your skin is hungry for it. And it's among the largest organ next to your lungs, because the surface area of the skin is 2.5 square meters versus the lungs are 7 square meters.
And here's the fun thing. I remember when you first presented me with a bag full of gels, I took them home and just kind of looked at them. I was afraid to, oh, my God, what if I put it in the wrong place, this, that, everything else. You know what? I don't think there is a wrong place. I don't think there is a bad place. They're perfectly safe, and our clients are most inventive. They create their own combinations by putting 2 or 3 together or layering them, and they get their own special results. So as I've been playing with them and had them and got used to them, now I'm just, getting devil may care with them. Oh, put it here, put it there, put more on. They're great.
Yeah, and your favorite, Dragonfly, it has the most beautiful aroma. And it was also developed, because of endocrine disruptors, because so many people had so much trouble of pollution stuck in their kidneys or affecting their adrenal glands. So when you put it on the back area where your kidneys are or your adrenal glands, it just helps to balance that whole energy field there. And also, Dragonfly does not like plastic, so we've always been amazed at how you put that on and it just helps melt that plastic if you're an individual that has been exposed to these biofillers or advanced nanomaterials. It's quite beneficial that way. They're in a unique blend of their own, right, Nance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're incredible. How many, I've lost count, I'm sure you know, how many gels within the nasturtium now? What number is that?
14. And I'm good before the end of the summer, which is for this year, I want to finish my marigold. But because that's going to be the new sun.
Oh, yeah. Tell them about the marigold. And plus eating it, which part you keep and which part you discard, and tell them that.
Yeah. I got experimenting with these edible flowers for the needs of the patients, and I knew a lot about nasturtiums because of my family, and growing up my dad loved those. And the other thing is with the marigold, it's very important if you do use this, and next week is going to be our show on edible flowers. You're going to love it, so you're going to learn a lot. But you cut the petals out because attached to the petals, because if they're blowing in the air, that's how they circulate and the flower, the seed can get into the soil. The seed is attached, but the marigold seeds are like needles. So if you don't cut those off and you swallow them, it can be like a needle going in your throat. But the thing is, the petals are very aromatic. They're a natural retardant for mosquitoes because mosquitoes are attracted to the body because the more you give off carbon dioxide is the more that they will come to you and bite you. So it cleanses that area. or that ability within the skin. And the other thing is that I purposely got involved with them because a lot of my patients were having accumulation of carbon monoxide, which was the breakdown degradation products of these silicone two-part resin materials. And in doing this, their skin would turn red and feel like they were burning. And in this, our CC blend, which is a whole other subject, and also these gels for the marigold helps and very beneficial in relieving this gas buildup within the body. And I also found out that the marigolds were used by ancient Olmec Indians and the Incas for as a tonic, so that if they got sunburned or did not get burned, they made different product out of it so that they would stop sunburn. So we find it very interesting of how it reduces the pigmentation on the skin. But between the nasturtium and the future marigold, we found that it's very accelerated, the results. Wouldn't you say that, Nancy, from what you've observed just in the last 3 weeks?
Yeah. I haven't really played with the marigold because I'm fascinated by the nasturtium. And but yes, it's quick. Oh, and tell them also, you and I both have a little ganglion cyst. I've got one on my wrist, and you have one up on your shoulder. And I'm checking that every day. And I really, I can't believe my eyes. I'm seeing a reduction in that. And also, I don't know what else to call them. We'd like to call them freckles, but I do believe as we get older, they're referred to as liver spots. So on the back of the hand, you and I both have been monitoring that, and that seems to be, bleaching it out, reducing it, whatever.
Right.
So there's so many aspects to the nasturtium. It's like you need to keep a journal.
Right, and these aspects are because these freckles or these age spots or liver spots are when accumulation of toxin gets into the cell or from the inside and the body is storing it underneath the skin, these pigmentations occur because the melanin comes to those areas trying to neutralize the toxin. So that's why you'd get these freckles, and that's why they'll deplenish, they'll remove themselves, but then if you get more toxins out of the body or the systemic organs, they come back again. So eventually they will go away, but it's getting the toxins out. And the other thing with the cyst, as Nancy mentioned, is that cysts are basically dead white blood cells accumulated in an area because there is some toxin or some physical injury that occurred that made the white blood cells go there and encapsulate themselves. And in this process, as the nasturtium gel cleans up that area and reduces the toxin and the other materials there as it's healing the muscles, because we've seen the toning in the muscles get better very fast in that area. The cysts do get smaller, and we are measuring it as per putting it on and seeing how fast it takes away, because this may be another alternative for ovarian cysts or other types of cysts that accumulate in the body. I know when we get the elixirs formulated and out to the individuals in the public, it will be very beneficial.
Well,
will be
here's
like
the
Methuselah,
difference,
but will it be gorgeous?
Just in case they didn't hear that word elixir, so there's two things going on. There is the nasturtium gel, which you put on the outside of your body, and then, not yet in production, but we lucky ones get to play with it, there is the elixir, which is the green tonic of the nasturtium in liquid form, and that goes down the hatch. Tablespoon in the morning, tablespoon at night. And I have one more addition for the nasturtium gel. I have been putting it, as I said, everywhere, but I have a rotator cuff injury. Well, both rotator cuffs, how sad is that, when I lurched out of our elevator and fell flat on my face on tile. And I've been dealing with that for about 6 months. But you know what? I rubbed that ice-cold nasturtium gel onto my rotator cuffs, and I actually think it's stops or makes the pain less because it's something that's continual pain, and it makes it tolerable. So that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, and I feel the more we, from our research side and our department on that, through our sister companies, that once we get all those analyses on, we're going to find out many, many uses for our formulated product that way. I think we're onto something very major, and I know that next week with the use of edible flowers, our audience will be very enlightened and also enjoy the taste and the creativity of it. It just adds a different aspect to your life and your meals.
Absolutely, and it's fun. I kind of like the wow factor, but the shock factor. To someone who's maybe not initiated into the rite of eating edible flowers, and to present them with my favorite, which is the nasturtium little like miniature club sandwich. Either dessert, it would go great with like a little pudding instead of a cookie. To have this, and I put the nasturtium flower, leaf, which is round and just, I love it. It's just so beautiful. And then, you reminded me it should really be the, what's the name of the goat cheese I love? Can you remember?
Hog and Fog or something like that.
Humboldt Fog, you got it. Humboldt Fog, love that. It's a goat cheese with a blue veining in it. Yum. And put the Humboldt Fog, HUMBOLDT, on that leaf. And then I put a little bit, your favorite that you reminded me of, that fig spread, fig preserves. And then I take the flower of the nasturtium and I kind of push it down, and that makes it just spread out. And, it's kind of small, almost like a trumpeted shape, and that makes it spread out and almost cover the leaf. And then, me being me, I don't just plop the leaf on top. I put the same stuff on the top leaf. So to me, it's like a nasturtium club. It could be an appetizer in the summer with maybe a wine punch or something, or lemonade, or it could be for dessert, as I said. Oh my gosh, people are going to go, what the heck is this? And then you get them to be brave, and you get them to try something new that's really so delectable, don't you think?
Right. Yes, and they're so easy to make, and we're going to learn how to make them next week. And the thing is that it's so nice for over the summer when you have kids home from school that these are projects that they can do and prepare while mom and dad are at work or anything, and help out in the family, because they're just so pretty, because they're so colorful because of the flowers or the edible leaves. I mean, even our use with the basil leaf was phenomenal with the cheese, putting it in and having 3 peas in a pod, which were blueberries rather. We're going to have fun next week, audience. And I know we've only got about a little less than 4 minutes, Nancy. Do you have anything else to add to the gels and the fillers and the Vampire Facelift? I mean, we've had a lot with this show, and it's been just basically an informative one. But do you have anything else to share?
You're putting me on the spot. I might have to start humming. I think I've downloaded everything out of my brain that I could think of.
Yeah. But all of the gels are, as Nancy has said, and our clients and our patients, they love to mix and match. It doesn't matter which one you want to use or which one's right or wrong. It all goes because they talk to your body, as I call it, because your body knows that you need it, and that is so nice, and you see the result.
Why don't you tell them, I've lost count, we've either got 3 or 4 purple gels. Why don't you tell them what makes the purple gels different, and health-wise what that does?
Yeah, we have 3 purple gels. The first one was the original, which is the one with the mermaid, which is made out of our blackberry combination, and it has the highest amount of telomerase. It was used to regenerate the skin so that you would be younger, like having a natural Botox. And then also it hates viruses, so that it would clean up any viruses that were in the body or on the skin. You would see skin tags or warts disappear, because it just cleaned that area up. The other is our Chalk-Mall Purple Gel, which has the blend of the essential oil of jasmine in it, because jasmine is very beneficial for any precancerous cells. It clears them up, and it is very regenerating for the cell structure. And our last, which is our newest, is for our gels, which are opening up different destinies, is the Portholes to Destiny, our purple gel, which is heaven, which is so dark purple that it looks almost black in the formulation. But definitely purple. It's wonderful, and it opens up the mind and the pineal gland.
And just to give people a little tip, if they don't already know, Portals to Destiny is your book that is out. And as I talked earlier about the dragonfly and the monkey king and manifesting things that you want into your life, that is what your book does. When read out loud, oh my gosh, it will change your life. And so that's something to just remind people of and let them know. Right. And now, are you still going to create more gels to go with the different portals in the book?
Yes, they will be coming out by the fall, the earth and also the gold. And we have our music starting, and we're going to be leaving, audience. And thank you for listening to our show. God bless you. And next week, we're going to have Aaron Stiles and the Ivana brothers and maybe Billy Mohan in reference to edible flowers. So enjoy and have a wonderful week, and go to the movies.
Thank you, Hilda. Bye.
Informed, enlightened, alive and amplified. This is the Living Light Network.
Silicone, there's technical grade, which is not to be used for these type of medical procedures, or they still are glues or greases or adhesives. There's even the new what they call a bipolymer, which is from a bio-bipolymer, which they use wheat straw, which is, the actin in the cellulose from wheat, and mixes it with a 2-part polyester, which these polyesters can be high-density polyethylene, like a milk container bottle, or also acrylonitrile. And I have had patients that was part of a Restylane clinical trial, and not under our facilities, but meaning came in afterwards, because for a number of years this individual, which was approximately 5 years, the face would be continually red, and whenever they would put a wet washcloth, brand new, white, we used even in the office and sent it to the lab for analysis, fibers would come out of the person's face. And we had this analyzed, and we'll have it on the website and also the Vimeo, which was high-density polyethylene, acrylonitrile, vinyl chloride. We know from hazardous materials training and everything, vinyl chloride breaks down into dioxin. So it does put you at risk for other types of diseases and disorders. And it is so important, if you do choose to go into those areas of using this type of technology, that you make sure the person is trained in that area to inject it, and at the same time that it is pharmaceutical grade. I myself, that's why I went into natural things always, especially our gels, which we're going to bring out. But the thing is, because I wanted something natural to allow your body and muscles to grow and to have its longevity and have its youthful vitality. And I
have a question.
Sure.
Why do some of them have adhesives right away that like a red flag goes off in my mind. And what is it adhering to? And then after the appropriate amount of time when, whatever filler is not still active, I'm assuming the adhesives are left behind. Can you tell me about that?
Right. It's the adhesives are if we took Saran wrap or that type of clear plastic, put it down in layers. It's called thin film technology, and in these they use the Well, I want to welcome you back, audience, to our second portion of the One Cell, One Light radio show. And today's talk is going to be with my guest, Miss Nancy Kersey, and we're going to have Vampire Facelifts after 5 o'clock. Are you there, Nancy?
I am, if you can hear me.
Sure can.
Oh, good.
Well, audience, my concern with a lot of these which we're going to talk about, is briefly an overview of the injectable facelifts that occur in the Hollywood and many areas of the United States and abroad. But in particular, there is, we're going to have on our site or on the Pro Board or WordPress a chart which it has the different types of injectable components, whether it's the Botox, Restylane, Juvederm, the new hydrogels, any of these type things. And then also the concern I have is that these materials from the injectable sides are basically fillers. And these fillers, yes, can be mixed like Botox with botulism so that it takes that endotox injected, it gets into that area of your jaw or wherever these wrinkles are and expands it out. But many things can go wrong. Right, Nancy?
Absolutely. And, when I was looking into this a bit, I mean, I hate to use her as an example, but she's the perfect one, actress Lisa Rinna, and her lips. And she had that done. I watched a program not too long ago. She had that done at least 20 years ago. Looked great for a while, but then as time went by, she started getting that rippling and bumpiness, and, her lips were looking more cartoonish than to be those of a beautiful woman. And
right.
she went to many plastic surgeons to have this fixed, and no one would touch her until finally one doctor did here in Los Angeles, and she had to go through the procedure, and then she had some problem with the suturing and things coming undone. He finally got it done. Oh my God, she's once again, that beautiful woman. Not that she wasn't, but the lips were a little bit of a factor there.
Right, and these factors, that meaning the injectables or anything, if they react, because they do contain hazardous materials, meaning citrin, which is from the bacteria, mixes it with different fillers and different glues, which are like the hydrogels or any of these other components, and used so that it can puff up the skin and the muscle area so that you lose your wrinkles or your crow lines or the deep furrows or anything. These materials are temporary. It goes from 3 to 4 months to as high as 1 year. Depends on the treatment. Some of them are trained by dermatologists. They use it, or plastic surgeons. And then also physicians go for the weekend courses. They pay a certain amount of money to get trained in it and license the technology. And the thing is, some celebrities have had this done and have had the horror stories of it. Nancy and I will go over it. And then at the same time, the newest thing is the Vampire Facelift, which is a combination of these materials like the Botox, the Restylane, or the Juvederm mixed together, and then they take a sample of your blood, spin it down so they get the platelets, which are the thrombocytes, mix it with that, which they call a protein-rich fibrin matrix, because it's got the platelets have a lot of growth factor in it, so that then it can get in when they